Welcome back everyone to another episode of Small Business Treasury, and today I want to share some devices that corporations use to secure their user logins when they have a team of multiple individuals who have access to the bank accounts within the organization, right? And this extra level of security is used by all corporations across different industries and different revenue size. I've worked with different companies throughout my career, and at different levels, different sizes, different revenue sizes, different sizes in the treasury team. And every single one of those corporations, with the exception of the small mom and pop shops early in my career, but as I advanced into my career into larger corporations, every single one of them use this device when it comes to the treasury team. And that device is known as a soft and hard token, right? So basically what those are is it's a form of MFA for your device, for your users when they're logging into the banking portal. And think about it like the equivalent of getting a text code into your mobile device whenever you're logging into a platform, right? Whether that's your email or other types of platforms that require double authentication. In the Treasury Department, it's not any different, right? But we use more securitized encrypted devices known as tokens. And the reason why it's either soft or hard token is because it's depending on the type of bank and what they offer, right? So a soft token is basically this little app right here, right? So this is what is known as the RSA app, right? RSA app is used by large corporations to log into the banking portal, right? And the RSA app, as you can see here, I have it labeled as the banking partner there. You have a 6-digit numbers at the bottom, and they change every 60 seconds. And those, the purpose of this device is to make sure that whenever you're logging into the banking portal, you use your user ID, you use your password, and then you have an additional level of protection by using an interchangeable code that changes every 60 seconds. So that way, even if your login credentials are compromised, they still require an RSA code to log into the banking portal, right? So this is a treasury feature and treasury tool that is added by your TMO, by your treasury team at your local, branch whenever you sign up for your treasury services. And as you continue to grow your organization and you add additional staff to your corporation and your company, each of these individuals who are assigned a user ID, they are able to, and they should, add the MFA feature, the RSA feature into their login for additional protection, right? So whoever oversees the user access for your company's organization and assigning user IDs and assigning logins and issuing access and issuing certain entitlements to certain individuals within your company, that person responsible for that should always add RSA in as a soft token or a hard token for those individuals, right? So it's your job as the founder, the CEO, the C-suite, the CFO to make sure that whenever you are assigning access to certain individuals, that they are using the extra level of protection that is offered by the bank. Now, a hard token is the exact same thing. You can see here it says RSA, and it's a little device that looks like this. And it's the same thing. It offers the exact same function as a soft token. The only difference is it's a hard token. Okay, that's all it is. And at the back, you'll have a serial number, you'll have the date. Some of them have the name of the bank on it. Some of them are just generic. Most of them are going to have the name of the bank, right? It might say JP Morgan Chase, it might say Wells Fargo, it might say Ameji Bank. Whoever is the bank that's issuing the token, they might label it with theirs, right? In this particular situation, these are always going to be tied. That's a direct connection to the bank. So there'll be times where maybe your department or an individual releases a wire and they sign up. These act as digital signatures, right? Because they are specifically tied to the individual who has access to the login. So maybe the individual releases a wire, they release an ACH, and this leaves a digital signature. This leaves a digital track as to who is the one who initiated it, approved and released the ACH, or an electronic payment. Okay, and if the bank ever calls the individual to do further verification for the the transaction that was processed, they're going to ask for the serial number at the back. Now, some of them may just ask for the last 4 digits, but the last 4 digits are going to be tied to the individual's identity, whoever has access to that bank account, okay, or to your corporation's bank account. And that's the importance of having these devices, because they act as digital signatures. They are able to sign off on transactions. They're able to add extra level of security when logging into the banks. And these devices are used by all corporations, all sizes. The only times where it's not seen as often is on smaller corporations, maybe under 10 people. Maybe there's one person on the accounting team. But as your corporation continues to scale and you start reaching several $1 million in revenue, these types of devices are very, very common. Now, I highly recommend that you don't wait till then until you start implementing this. It's very inexpensive to get this started. You can go to the bank and you can request, hey, I want to add extra level of security. Can I get a hard token for my corporation? I want to have that for my user login. And they should be able to walk you through with the TMO to get that implemented. It's a very inexpensive tool offered by the bank, and there's good resources, and there's not a big fee assigned to it. So for a very minimal amount that you pay in services, you get an extra level of protection when it comes to your logins, when it comes to your access, when it comes to preventing, unwanted electronic payments. These are very, very useful. And especially as your organization continues to scale and you add more people into the treasury team or to your accounting team, your finance team, and you have more people who are getting access to your bank accounts, you want to make sure that all of the individuals have this type of device readily available, so they can go ahead and add, when they access their new user ID, that they have this available, right? Every time you need one, you go to the bank and say, hey, can I get another token? Adding a new team member to my team. Can we go ahead and issue a token? Usually they're about $20 per token, sometimes less, depending on the corporation, the relationship they have. And the great thing about it is that if someone resigns, you can have this token and just reassign the serial number to the next individual, right? So you can have maybe just 3 or 4 or 5 of these tokens, and then you can continue to recycle them as people continue to resign, because you'll just request the bank to reassign the serial number. So that's the importance of having these. It's a very cheap way to add additional protection to your organization. It doesn't cost a lot of money to get this implemented. It's very simple, but that's the whole point of having additional level of protection. That's the point of the Treasury Department, is to make sure that you are adding levels of protection to protect the capital, right? You want to make it as very difficult for error to occur, whether that's human error, whether that's a hacker, whether that's someone who has ill intentions, whether that's a disgruntled employee. The Treasury Department is there to act as a defense to protect that capital, right? And many organizations, they may not have the resources to hire full treasury team, but your accounting team should be knowledgeable in these things, so they have good practices, right? Many small businesses, they have DIY for a lot of these things that are being implemented, and that's completely fine, but you just need to be aware of it so you can go ahead and implement it. The first step in change in protecting your cash is recognizing the potential exposure, and then doing the first step to making sure you prevent anything from happening within your organization. You want to protect that capital. So your head of accounting, your head of finance, your CFO, they should be knowledgeable about this. They should be enforcing these policies. They should be writing policies on treasury practices and policies, and making sure that the accounting staff who has access to the bank accounts, who operates within the vicinity of the Treasury Department, whether that's directly or indirectly, whether that's someone who's wearing multiple hats, that they have knowledge in these types of products and services, and that you as the founder, the CEO, the C-suite, are making sure that you're implementing this within your organization before something happens. You don't want to implement things after something happens. You want to be proactive, not reactive, right? So it's very difficult to recover money after it's been lost, okay? And that happens more times than you think, through embezzlement, through wire fraud, ACH fraud, through any types of check fraud, right? All these different things that are very common in the treasury team and the treasury function, that are prone to exposure, that are prone to fraud. You as a founder CEO, you want to be proactive, making sure that you are protecting the company's cash, the company's capital, and implementing good treasury practices within your organization, right? So treasury, as I mentioned before, is just another fancy way to related to cash management, liquidity, solvency, making sure that payables are paid on time, making sure that receivables are received on time, making sure that there's enough cash in your daily operations of the business to cover short-term needs. So accounting looks at what happened, FP&A looks at what will happen, accounting is looking at what is happening today. What is the forecast for the next 13 weeks, right? That is what treasury does. And then treasury also acts as a defense against capital loss and fraud and embezzlements and ACH transactions and other electronic payments, right? So that's the function of the treasury team. You do not need a full treasurer. You do not need a full treasury department to have good practices. Your CFO, who has multiple hats in the beginning of the beginning of the startup phase, should be knowledgeable in these things. Share these videos with him so they are aware. And then you as a C-suite team with your COO, CEO, and the CFO, you come together and you implement strategies and policies for the treasury department. Whether you have a dedicated treasury department or not is not important, but the important is that you have good practices and policies in place. So as your organization continues to scale, you have the policies already in place and you're not being reactive in the future. Anyways, that's all for today's video. If you have questions, you can send them to me directly through my Instagram. You can leave them in the comments. You can send them to my email, and I'll go ahead and review them, and I can make videos specifically on the questions that you have. If you want to work with me directly on a specific scenario that you're facing, a specific problem, you can call me on my links, and then we can discuss the situation that you're facing. I've been in this for a very, very, very long time. There's probably nothing that you're going to encounter that I haven't seen throughout my career. I'm very passionate about this. I love helping small businesses and growing businesses implement, corporate level treasury functions within their organization. It's my passion. So I'm more than happy to help out in any way that I can. That's all for today's video, and see you in the next one.